Yo, what's going on guys? Unisex here, and today I'm going to bring you my Hive Beedrill Season 4 run and the first 5 weeks. So, if you don't know already, I did relegate from Mega Beedrill, or previously Beedrill, last season, because I got 6-0 by Owen week 10. Uh, and it's been a fat minute since I uploaded, so I decided to upload my Beedrill run, and to make sure that I don't pretty much just stop recording or stop not uploading midway, I decided to upload my whole season after the season has finished, or at least we're currently in semifinals right now, but like when the season has ended in general. So this season, Hive has decided to go for a new sort of promotion and relegation system, where it's based upon points instead of like the top three from each league relegate. I mean the top three from each league promote, and vice versa. So there is a scenario where I don't even have to win the playoffs race to be able to promote if I just get a good record in the regular season. So that is what I wanted to aim for this season specifically. So for this video, I'll probably be doing my first 5 weeks, and then the next video will probably be the next 5 weeks. And then if I do end up making playoffs, or if I do have a good playoff run, I'll probably upload that in a separate video as well. So without further ado, let us move into this game. So first of all, I'm going to just show you guys my draft. This was not what I originally drafted. Originally, I had a Blacephalon over the Vaporeon and the Mega Glalie over the Mega Houndoom. But after week 3, I decided to change my team up a little bit, and I definitely like this version of the team much more than what I had previously. So without further ado, let's jump straight into our week 1 game vs David. So David also made some transactions as well. I think the most notable thing is that he didn't have Omastar week 1. Other than that, I think everything else is the same though. So let's, I'm pretty sure everything else is the same. So let's hop straight into the team. So what we have here is we have a Mew, Crocodile, and Blacephalon, Torkoal, Scorpion, and Dragonite. So going into this game, my largest fear was definitely the Mega Charizard Y, because at this point, like I said, I had Mega Glalie over Houndoom, and then I had Blacephalon, so my Fire Resist were extremely limited, being Dragonite only, and because it didn't have a Water type back then, so Dragonite and Blacephalon. And we all know that Blacephalon isn't coming in to take a Fire Blast under the sun. And Dragonite after Rock damage isn't really a good switch in either. So going into this game, that was what I feared the most, definitely. So I did over prep for Zard a lot this game. So moving on, we have a Spadef Mew. Spadef Mew is kind of like sort of a blanket check to most things on this team. I do expect a what do you call it? Special Kamo, and Thunderwave can help me deal with Kamo, set up Kamo, Latias, and other things such as Zoroark. If I manage to get a T-Wave off pretty nicely, and if I can manage to T-Wave the Zard, that makes it much less of a problem vs my team. But overall, the set is kind of weird. I don't really like this set now that I look back at it, honestly. But this match I played was like I played this match like at least two to 3 months ago, so I kind of forgot like a lot of my thought processes for my set. But I don't know what the speed is creeping, but I know the Spadef is mainly to be able to switch in or help switch into Rodon, Diancie, Latias, Charizard better. So most of his threats on this team are specialty based, except for like Escavalier and probably DD Kamo if he decides to bring that. So moving on, we have the Crocodile with the Chople Berry. So the Chople Berry is mainly for Focus Blast from a Zoroark, or close combat from the Kamo, even though I doubt I'll be staying in on Kamo in the first place. But basically, the whole point of this set is to be able to trap the Latias and the Doublade. Because these two, with Latias and Doublade on, I feel like my Blacephalon can have a much better field day vs David's team, considering my set pretty much just, it can beat his team if he can't revenge kill my Blacephalon, is what I'm trying to say. So like this team is built around the basis of Blacephalon being able to weaken Davis' team and Crocodile being able to trap its counters or checks. So We have Stealth Rock, Knockoff, Earthquake, and Pursuit. Knockoff to get rid of items. This set's pretty self-explanatory. Split F because I want to be able to tank Latias, Draco Meteors. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this set alone. So moving on, we have a Blacephalon. A pretty self-explanatory set, hits everything on my team, dual stab, psychic, and HP steal. HP steal and psychic pretty much covers the only two switches he has to this thing, which is the Diancie and the Kamo. Of course, Kamo has bulletproof, so it can switch in on Shadow Wall really easily, and it can tank a Fire Blast as well. The Life Orb guarantees me kills on stuff such as Diancie without it needing to take chip, and it can also 2-hit KO stuff such as the Rotom. The only problem with this set is the fact that Scarfers can be really annoying, and mons such as Doogal can Shadow Sneaker and Revenge kill my Blacephalon fairly easily. So that's why I have to Crocodile before that. So yeah, moving on, we have the Torkoal. Lava Plume, Solar Beam, Rock Plume, and Rapid Spin. This is going to be my main switch into my to his Mega Charizard Y. Rock Tomb, of course, is for Nizar. If Stealth Rocks are up, he will also be forced to Roost. So I feel like this set can do some work, but like it can't switch into Zard much at all. Like I would really prefer if I had Toxic on this thing, but if Fire Blast under Sun does like 50 or 45 to 50 or something ridiculous like that to your Torkoal without Assault Vest. So I'm kind of forced to run Assault Vest in this game. Therefore, this is going to be my main switch into Zard. Even if rocks are up, it's not really a switch at all. But that's why I have Defog on Mew. But overall, I pretty much only have to set just for Zard. It doesn't really serve other functions. It's like setup bait for Kamo. It's also like it also can't beat Latias at all, and it's honestly, now that I look back at it, it's a pretty bad set. What I really should have done in order to deal with the Charizard Y was pretty much bring like a Split F based Dragonite over a offensive one probably. But like then again, Dragonite is probably my best win con in this game by far. But overall, I feel like I could have prepped this team better, like looking back at it now. But moving on, we have the Scorpion. 3 attacks protect. Mega Horn, Earthquake, Rock Slide pretty much deals with everything on his team. Escavalier is definitely a bit annoying, so is the Blade. I do expect only one of the steals to come not close, which is why I feel pretty comfortable bringing this set. Protect this so that I am able to set up on or outspeed stuff such as Venusaur under Sun, and also be able to beat Kamo if it gets up with DD at any circumstance. So SD can also work, but I definitely felt like he'll be Shuka Diancie just for the Crocodile plus the Scolipede, which is why I didn't really necessarily want to run SD. And overall, it like this team functions with Blacephalon, Scolipede, Dragonite as like Scolipede and Dragonite as the main cleaners, Blacephalon is the main breaker, Crocodile to trap Latias and Doogal, and Mew to get rid of hazards, and Torkoal to roll the Zard. So last but not least, we have D-Claw, EQ, E-Speed, and Dragon Dance on our Dragonite. I'm kind of rushing through this video right now because I don't want this to extend for too long. We're only on game 1. But E-Speed is for potential weakened Zoroark, Kamo, or the Latias. And yeah, Dragonium Z is for the Donphan and the Rotom. I could have run Groundium for this game to be able to beat the Blade, or potentially Firium with Fire Punch because he has his own Sun. But I can't touch the Diancie, which I didn't like at all. So yeah, there you go. That is my week 1 team vs David. So let's hop straight into the game. So as you can see, he brings the team like outside of my expectation. I definitely expected the Zard to come, as I like stated many times during my prep, over one of his steals. Everything else was pretty like it was like what I expected, except for like Excavator. So yeah, let's hop straight into the game. I kind of forgot what I did during the game, so I'm just gonna say I'll go one by one. So I lead off with a Torkoal vs his Rotom. I think I expected a I want to say a Diancie lead for him to get up his rocks straight away, and I want him to get off a fast Solar Beam to put him in range of something like an Earthquake from a Scolipede or a Dragonite once weakened, but that's not the case. Right here, I decided to go into my Mew as he's just going to go for the Volt Switch, and he's going to go into his Cavalier. Now, normally if I have Fire Blast here or something a fire coverage, I would definitely have gone for it, even though Aqua is pretty obvious. Sun is up, and I can still do like a 95% to his Escavalier, and I can always go for the Mega Horn as well. Also, I do not expect him to go for the Mega Horn right here, because Torkoal is a very obvious switch, so if I definitely had the fire move, I would have gone for it right now. But since I don't, I'm forced to go back out into Torkoal. I'm just going to go for the Mega Horn, and it does a solid 25% to my Torkoal. So next up, I'm going to pull a double back into Mew, because I feel like his switch into Torkoal definitely Latias and the Diancie, which Mew can deal with both pretty well. So I'm just going to go back into my Mew, and I can Thunder Wave this Latias as it comes in, as he goes into his Diancie. So I'm going to get off my Thunder Wave here. It's pretty obvious that he's going to go for his rocks, so I believe I'm just going to get off some damage with a Psychic as he goes for his rocks, and I can get off a Defog here, I believe. Yeah, so I'm just going to get off my Defog here, and I'm going to go back out into my Torkoal on the Escavalier, as he's just going to go for a knockoff here, and getting rid of my Saltness. Torkoal is pretty useless this game, considering the fact that Zardwire isn't here. I'm just going to go for a Rock Tomb, anticipating the Latias to come in as he goes into his Rotom. I don't know if Rotom outspeeds, I'm pretty sure it still does, so that's why I decided to switch out into Mew again, as he goes for a Volt Switch back into Escavalier. Now I'm just going to go back into my Torkoal. Like, as I said, like, Torkoal is useless this game, so like, there's no reason for me to keep it. I'm just going to fire off my Solar Beam, in case he wants to go into his Rotom again. That does a solid 51%. So now I'm going to make a really aggressive play. I'm going to predict the Volt Switch and go hard into my Krookodile. Now the reason I made this play is because I didn't want to give him momentum anymore, because if I went into Mew and he went for the Volt Switch again, he is able to get back Escavalier, and he's pretty much just able to like lock me into this Volt Turn cycle. So that's why I decided to go into Krookodile to try and stop this Volt Turn, but he ends up going for the Hydro Pump, and he deals a massive amount of damage to me. And I'm in a really shit position at this point. I have to pivot back out into Mew on the Hydro Pump, and he's pretty much getting free leftovers every turn, and I'm going to have to go for the Sidekick to get off some more damage, but he's going to just go for the Volt Switch. He gets a crit, I don't think that really matters. He's going to go back out into his Escavalier. I believe I try to go back out into my Torkoal, and he's going to push Suit Trap me, which is really bad news. Right now, I'm just going to be forced to go into my Blacephalon, and I'm not going to make any hard predictions, because I believe that he might just switch in. I mean, he might just stay in. So yeah, so he does actually stay in, and the Aqua does not save him from the Fire Blast to get the Spread Death boost. And he's gonna go into his Latias here. So at this point, I don't know what Latias he is. In my mind, he's probably just something like Calm Mind, Draco Meteor. So I'm pretty sure he was gonna go for the Draco Meteor here, so I'm just gonna go into Torkoal to try and stack it off. And that is indeed what happens, but he actually goes for the Pulse instead, and he kills me from that range. Now that damage shows me that he was actually Specs Latias, because a Dragon Pulse should not have killed a max for the Torkoal from 49, because Latias is piss weak. So right here I'm just going to go into my Scolipede, and because I don't have SD, I'm going to have to pull a double back out into my Krookodile, expecting the Doogal. But he ends up going his Rotom instead, and that is pretty bad news. And he's going to miss his Hydro Pump. I'm going to be able to go for the knockoff and get off his leftovers, which is pretty unfortunate for him. But yeah, I'm going to pivot back down to my Scolipede on Hydro Pump. That steals a shit ton. I'm going to go for the Rock Slide. They're going to take out this Rotom. So right here, I'm still in a pretty shit situation. I can't really beat his Doogal at all. I'm going to go back into Krookodile on his anticipated Shadow Iron Head. He's going to go for the Gyro Ball. Right here, I'll knock off into the Kamo, revealing that he is Z. If he's DD, I pretty much just lose the game, so I'm forced to go off into my Dragonite to sack off my Wincon. But I'm going to get off an Intimidate first to scout the Z move, because I don't live a +1 Devastating Break even after Multi-Skill. So right here I can go back in Dragonite, so it's going to go for the Outrage, and I can go for my own Z move to finish off the Komodo. So at this point I'm pretty much just only playing for differential. There's really nothing for me to hang on to for the win. He's going to go back out into Latias, go for Dragon Pulse, knock me out. Forced to go into Scolipede. I'm going to make an aggro play and go for the Earthquake. If I go after Mega Horn, Doogal was probably just have cleaned up the game in the end. But like I said, at this point I was going to go for the choke on David's part to be able to go for the win. And I was going to hope I can get 2 crit EQs in a row to be able to beat the Doogal. So that was pretty much my only chance to win right there, and I don't get it, as he even stays in. So he's going to be able to pick out my Scolipede and my Blacephalon with the Specs Latias. So that's going to be game 1, and we do not start off the season well at all. So hopefully we can cop a win game 2, and I believe game 2, and I believe our week 2 is going to be vs Doogal. So let's jump straight into that game. So looking at Doogal's draft here, right? So we have a pretty offensive draft with Lofty and Z Manfi. I don't remember if he made any transactions. I believe he did. I just can't recall what they are. And I think he made a pretty large amount of transactions as well. So forgive me if this team doesn't represent what he has in the actual game. Which now that I look at it, is pretty different compared to what he brought in the actual game. So we're just gonna ignore this for now. But going through the team, I'm gonna have a Fizdef for a Mixed Mew, a Scarf Crocodile, a Victor Bell, a Turtle, and a Lady, and a Dragonite. So one thing I remember from this game is the fact that Doogal had no ground resist slash immunities. Slash immunities after Scarm is gone. So my main purpose from this game is to go into my Glady, go for the Return into Explosion to pick out the Scarm, and go for the Crocodile Clean. And this is also my first time being Victor Bell. Water Ball, Solar Beam, I believe hit everything on his team. And Leash Life was for Koopa that he had over Manaphy, I believe, on his team. So he already had Koopa Unbound, which is why I packed the Leash Life to be able to one-shot it. We also have a Heat Rock, Torkoal, Wisp, Lava Plume, Rapid Spin, and Stealth Rock. It's a fairly good switch into the Lopunny, so which is why Torkoal's not actually a bad one at all in my opinion. So it also offers a good switch into the Mimikyu I believe he had before this. So yeah, that was also something that was that's notable. So moving on, we have the Mega Glalie. As I said, this thing is pretty much to take out the Skarmory if he brings it, and it can also act as an anti-lead to the Galvantula if he does want to bring Webs vs me. So moving on, we have the Dragonite, pretty standard set. Fire Blast on their Sun is able to deal with Skarmory, which is why I have it. So moving on, let's hop straight into the game. So sorry about that. Right here we have our game vs Doogal. So I believe I lead off with my Torkoal or my Glady. Yeah, so I lead off with my Glady, anticipating the Galvantula lead. Because it's a good anti-lead with return into Ice Shard. He's going to go for the Bug Buzz straight away. That's 49%, doesn't do a lot. I'm going to bring him down to Sash. No reason for me to protect. I'm just going for the Ice Shard as I knock him out. He's going to go into his Lopunny here, and I'm going to go out into my Mew. That's just going to go for a good play and go for Toxic, anticipating my Mew. However, I do synchronize the Toxic back onto the Lopunny, so that's pretty good as well. He's going to go out into his Skarm here, as I'm just going to go for a safe Psychic and just 20%. Right here, I believe I go into my, I go for the Taunt, expecting him to go for Rocks or Spikes. And I believe I switch out here into my Torkoal as he goes into its Volcanion. So right here, that was not a play I expected him to make. I thought he would actually go out into his, Side Guard or something, but, alas, that is not the case. I'm going to go into my Dragonite because I can tank a Steam Eruption and the Fire Blast with Multi-Scale up, as he's just going to go for the Fire Blast and misses, unfortunately. So what this means is that I can get off a free attack, free Supersonic Skystrike. I do expect him to have something like a Will-O-Wisp Volcanion, which is why I didn't want to go for the DD, and I want to just weaken the Volcanion straight away. It's going to go for the Flame Charge and break my Multi-Scale and give him +1 speed. And he's going to follow it up with the HPIs, leaving me at 3%, meaning that Fire Blast would have managed to kill it. However, if he did even manage to do that, Victor Bell pretty much came in and revenged the Volcanion. So that I don't think it mattered that much in terms of the end game, except for a few points of differential. So I'm going to be able to take out the Volcanion with the Dragon Claw. Just going to go for it into going to the Lopunny. I'm just going to sack off my Dragonite. No reason to sack unnecessary health and toxic damage from my Mew or my Torkoal. And now I'm going to go into Victor Bell because Solar Beam pretty much just picks up a kill. And yeah, so right here he's going to go back out into his Mimikyu. Like I said, Torkoal is a good switch into Mimikyu. He's going to go for the Shadow Claw. There's absolutely zero. I can fire off a Will-O-Wisp really safely because Lopunny can't do shit to me, and Wisp helps me expose Skarmory and Mimikyu. Now he's going to go for the SD again. I'm going to go for the Lava Plume, Great Kiss Disguise. And pretty much I think I have the game locked into that because he can't beat my Torkoal with his Mimikyu. I'll go into my Crocodile, making an aggressive play because I know I'm Scarf. I can go for the EQ and knock out the Mimikyu. He's forced to go into his Skarmory. I can pretty much just go back into my Torkoal as he's going to go for the Stealth Rocks, I believe. Right here I can merge this Lava Plume and get my remaining 2 kills with my Torkoal. But you could end up going for the Roost instead, and I was like, oh, why not give Victory Bell the last 2 kills? So I decided to go back into my Victory Bell, go for the Weather Ball, knock the Storm out, go for the Protect on the Fake Out potential, and take out the Lopunny with a Solar Beam. So overall, week 2, pretty well played game by us, and I do believe that we had the... We do believe that I do believe that I played this pretty well and my prep was pretty well. So yeah, we end up winning vs Doogal week 2, which puts us at 1-1 plus 2 differential, I believe, at week 2. So not bad, but I was hoping I could start off better. So moving on, week 3, I believe we are battling Ice Demon Grey, or IDG. I believe he made a few changes to his squad as well. Notably, he didn't have Heracross. Yeah, they Conkeldurr over Heracross and something over Serena. I forgot what it was, but it's not like Serena is good vs me anyway, so like it doesn't make much difference, anyways. So moving on, let's look into my team for IDG. So right here we have a setup Mew. So before this, I don't think he had Drapion. I might be wrong, but his Psychic Resists are extremely shaky, with his only ones being Bronzong and Drapion, and I didn't really expect Drapion to come, so I thought that this set would be the best. Tom prevents stuff like Whirlwind Licky from being able to Whirlwind me out, and I thought he would be Cloud 9 Licky for sure, because I have the Weather Duel after all, so I don't expect Oblivious to come over Cloud 9. However, I did make a big blunder here, as I didn't realize that Wish and Cloud 9 was incompatible on Licky, so he was pretty much forced to run Oblivious, and therefore this sort of comp bring was kind of a misplay on my side. So yeah, so you're gonna see how that comes into effect later, because I have Taunt on my Crocodile as well. So I have EQ, Toxic Taunt, and knock off my Crocodile. This thing is pretty much to wall the Zard X and the Lando T and the Aerodactyl. So pretty self-explanatory, the set, max HP, max defense. And then up next we have the Victory Bell for 3 attacks with Encore. I have Energy Ball over Solar Beam, so I don't get Protect spelled by the Suicune if Sun runs out. Weather Ball is a pretty cool tech because he has his own tail as well. So Encore is for the Cune and I believe the Charizard, or like any setup mon in general, I believe. So it's a pretty nice set. Up next we have Torkoal, Heat Rock, Toxic, Lava Plume, Stone Shark, Rapid Spin. This set pretty much helps vs Zard as well. I can't really touch Cune other than Toxic, but like I do have like Bell in the back, so I'm not too worried about that. The set gets rid of hazards from the Bronzong, and it can help vs Ninetale as well, being able to prevent him from setting up Aurora Fill, and we can set up our own rocks as well. So moving on, we have a Scorpion Shout, High Jump Kick, U-Turn, HPS, all pretty self-explanatory move. The only thing that's a bit out of the ordinary here is Fling. I have Fling here because I didn't want to be locked into Scarf forever. I do expect a Protect Mon, such as Bronzong or Licky to come to this game, which is why I decided to go for the Fling, so I can I don't have to be locked into a certain move later into the game if I outspeed everything remaining on this team. Such as if Raikou dies and Ninetales dies, I can pretty much just fling my item away and pretty much just clean up the rest of his squad without worrying about Protects. And last but not least, we have Scolipede, Speed Boost, Focus Sash, Spikes, and Endeavor. Pretty self-explanatory set. Toxic Spikes help vs Cune, Raikou, prevents them from setup, and Licky as well. Endeavor, I can get off a free attack. Spikes reduces your damage, and Poison Jab with the touch is something at least. So moving on into the game, he brings pretty much everything of what I expect. So he's gonna lead off with his Lando, as I'm gonna lead off with my Torkoal. Right here, he's gonna go hard for the Earthquake, as I'm just gonna get up my rocks. Honestly, I didn't expect him to go for this Earthquake turn 1, but he did end up going for it anyway. I expected him to go for something like a U-turn, but it makes sense going for Earthquake because if you look at my draft, I don't have a Earthquake switch in at all at this point. And that is definitely something that I looked over during prep. So I'm gonna go back out into my Mew as he's just gonna go for another Earthquake. 37, get him out. But I guess some leftovers back, and I'm able to go for the softball, I believe. No, I actually make a double into Scolipede. So I believe I expected the Bronzong to come in, which is why I went into Scolipede, because I wanted to get off an Endeavor on the Bronzong. But right here, I'm just gonna go for my Toxic Spike on this Raikou. I was just gonna go for the Thunderbolt. Unfortunately, it doesn't bring me down low enough to Endeavor can kill him after Rocks, or Rocks can kill him after Endeavor. So I'm just gonna go into Victory Bell as I sack off my Scolipede and pick up a kill with my Sludge Bomb. Just gonna go into his Ninetales here. Right here, I make a pretty foolish play. I saw the Torkoal was really obvious because it not only prevents Ice type moves, it also prevents Aurora Veil. So I thought he would make an aggressive double into the Landorus to be able to get off a Defog or go for Earthquake again, which is why I decided to go for the Weather Ball here, expecting the Lando switch in so I can catch it off guard, and because Weather Ball under Hail is Ice type, I can pretty much just KO the Lando straight off the bat. But he's just going to go for the Blizzard, go for the safe play, and kill off my Victor Bell, which is huge for him, because as I said, he's pretty much not Cloud9 Licky, but I did not know that at this point. I definitely thought he was still Cloud9 which is why I was like, oh, Victor Bell is still pretty useless if he has that Licky around, so it doesn't matter if I risk it too early into the game. However, that is absolutely not the case. So I'm going to go into my Mienshao here and I'm just going to fire off a few high jump kicks, because Zard with Rocks up isn't going to switch in at all, and Lando is getting chipped heavily by Hail, high jump kick, and Rocks. So I'm going to go for my high jump kick as he's going to sack off his Bronzong, I believe. Yeah, so he sacks off his Bronzong. I'm just going to go for it again. There's no reason for me to not, which is pretty nuts for me. I did expect Protect, but it's not like I can do anything about it anyways. I didn't want him to get up free Rocks. So he's going to go out into his Landorus here, I believe. And I'm just going to go for the Crocodile play, because I have to Intimidate, and this is just to wall the Zard and the Lando. Right here, I did expect him to be something like Brownium Z Lando, so I'm just going to go for the double into Torkoal, I believe, trying to scout for the Z. But he ends up going into his Licky anyway, so I pull a double back into Mew as he's going to go for the Wish. Right here, I still was thinking he's Cloud9, so I was like, okay, let's go for the Taunt, I believe, to prevent him from heating up even more. He's going to heal up his Alola Ninetales. So right here, I'm just going to pull the safe play and go back into my Torkoal, because Blizzard under Sun is like 50% accurate. He's going to land it, but not a big deal. I'm going to go out into Crocodile because I expected him to go into his Licky. But he's just going to go for the Dark Pulse, which works for me anyways, because Blizzard is not going to land in Sun anyways. And I can always just go back into Mew as he attempts to go for a Blizzard, because my Mew is pretty heavy Spadef based. So right here, I'm going to go for the Calm Mind, I believe, because I was like, okay, if I can taunt the Licky, I believe this is game over, because Zard and Lando can break me unless they have Sun Up, which is about to die soon. But here he reveals the Oblivious Dragon Tail Licky, which completely screwed me over. I didn't expect this at all, and I was like, oh fuck, what can I do now? And I can't really fling away my item meter because the Alolan Ninetales is still alive, which is why I decided to go for the HP Ice onto the whatchamacallit, the Licky. And then he's gonna go for the Wish again, I believe, yeah. So right here, I was like, okay, I need to knock off the guy's item, or the guy's leftovers. So I went for the Earthquake, expecting the Alolan Ninetales, I guess, then. But yeah, so he's able to go back into his Landorus. Right here, I believe I sack off my Torkoal to... Oh no, I end up going for Toxic on the Landorus because I thought it was gonna go for a setup move. But he ends up defogging my hazards away, which is pretty bad for me actually. Because my Rock Setter is my Torkoal and it's at 11%. Basically, it means that I can't get up Rocks anymore, and the Zard just became 10 times more threatening. 10 times more threatening. So right here, my only hope is that he can actually kill my Torkoal with one move or one Body Slam. But he ends up having Earthquake, and he is able to kill my Torkoal and heal himself all the way back up. So right here, I'm going to go into my Mew, and I believe I go for the Calm Mind. Right now, my only play is going for the late game single Mom Mew win, or if I can finesse with my Mienshao, because now Ninetales is dead, I can go for the thing. However, basically what happened this game was I was playing this at my summer camp at least 2 months ago, and because I had to leave mid-game, I couldn't actually finish the game. and this ended up being a win for IDG because I had to forfeit midway, and he didn't want to make up the 33 turns of sheer torture. So I ended up getting the loss for this game, unfortunately. This game was really whack. I wish I could have played it through because it was a pretty interesting game up to this point at least. So hopefully I was able to play him in the future in another league or maybe in Hive playoffs as well. But ultimately we did lose the game because we ended up forfeiting, and so we are currently 1-2, which is not a good start for me at all. I definitely expected something better. But moving on, let's go to our week 4 game. So our week 4 game was after we made our transactions. So basically everything was much more fleshed out, and we were going to be up against Will the Most, aka currently undefeated, or during that point he was undefeated. But I definitely felt like I had a good advantage with him, not in terms of matchup, but in terms of like confidence. So let's take a look at his draft. Yeah, so he has Mega Gallade, Zapdos, Milotic, Muckalola, Wintercott, Fortress, Chandler, Drotagon, Feraligatr, Diggersby, and Cryogonal. So looking at his draft, the first thing that popped into my mind is that Sun can definitely destroy him after Muckalola goes down. So that's what I decided to build my team around, I believe. So so right here we have a Will-O-Wisp, Bruce knockoff, and Taunt Mew. The main purpose of this Mew is to be able to get off a Wisp on the Muck, knock off the Milotic's item, knock off the Muck's item, and knock off the Zapdos' item. Other than that, it doesn't really serve much purpose, maybe to Wisp the Feraligatr or Diggersby or the Gallade. So yeah. Roost for reliable recovery and Taunt for the Fortress and Milotic and Zapdos to prevent them from healing. Pretty self-explanatory set. Moving on, we have the Houndoom, Dark Pulse, Flamethrower, Solar Beam, Flame Charge. Solar Beam is for the Gator and the Milotic, and I ran Flame Charge because I didn't want to get undersped by Mega Gallade. And yeah, Fire Blast on the Sun or Flamethrower on the Sun does a shit ton to sometimes Muck, which is really helpful for Victreebel in the late game as well. Speaking of Victreebel, here we have it. Next we have Steep Powder, Sludge Bomb, Solar Beam, and Weather Ball. So Sludge Bomb, Solar Beam, mandatory coverage, hits everything on his team except for Muck. And Weather Ball pretty much hits Whimsicott as well. Steep Powder is for the Muck because that's the only thing I can take on my attacks. So I have to be careful of him, but other than that, everything should be fine. Moving on, we have the Torkoal, Heat Rock again, Wisp Rock, Lava Plume, and Rapid Spin. I've bought like the same set like 3 weeks in a row, so at this point it shouldn't be very surprising what this set does. So let's move straight on. Next up, we have the Scolipede sets, Subaton Bust, Endeavor, and Spikes. No attacking, no attacks at all. The whole point of the Scolipede set is to get off as many hazards as possible. I noticed that our opponent doesn't really like to bring removal, which is why I called for you and Togekiss, but unfortunately he's under your control right now. So yeah, Substitute and Baton Pass is so that I can Baton Pass into the Houndoom potentially and get off a Flame Charge. But it's a pretty shaky move, and I also can pass into the Dragonite or the Victreebel as well, depending on the situation. Endeavor allows me to get off something huge on a Zapdos, Milotic, or Muck, which is really, really great for my team in general, which is why I bought it. And then, last but not least, we have the Dragonite, Z Outrage for the Milotic, and Z Outrage for the Zapdos. I was debating Z Fire Punch because Z Fire Punch goes through Encore from the Whimsicott, which I definitely do expect him to bring to shut down my DD Dragonite. And what I can do is that I can just go for the Z Fire Punch on this Encore and pretty much just break past Encore and go for the Outrage continuously. Or I can go for what do you call it? Or I can go for Iron Tail, because Iron Tail also hits the. Well, what am I talking about? But yeah, so Fire Punch is to hit the Whimsicott. I was considering Z Fire Beam. Extreme Speed is also for the priority Whimsicott and also for a Gallade if everything is chipped and weakened. But yeah, everything else is pretty standard. I do feel pretty confident about this game in terms of like my matchup. So yeah, let's get straight into the game. He's gonna lead with his Zapdos as I'm gonna lead with my Mew. The reason I led with my Mew is because I did expect a Fortress lead and I can taunt that string straight away. And if he leads with anything else, I can get off a free knockoff or a Will-O-Wisp. So Mew was overall a great lead vs Will. So I'm gonna go start off with my Mew. He's gonna start off with his Zapdos. I'm gonna go for a knockoff turn 1 because I'm gonna be able to get rid of an item straight away. But he's gonna go for the T-Bolt. We're going to be Specs Zapdos because 59% can only be Specs. And he's gonna go and he's gonna get the Paralysis, which is huge because what this means is that if he didn't get the paralysis, I am able to knock off the Zapdos and roost all the Zapdos pretty much. And because without Specs, T-Bolt is only going to do about like 38%. I can roost her really easily, and Zapdos won't be a problem at all anymore, especially if he doesn't have roost. But he ends up getting the power and the full power. So pretty much, I have to sack him on right here. Because nothing on my team is able to eat up a Thunderbolt from Zapdos except for Beedrill, which gets 2-hit KO'd. So I have to sack my Mew. Whereas if I went for the knockoff, I'm pretty much able to roost stall this Zapdos out of the game. So that was really unfortunate. I have to sack my Mew, turn 2, and I'm forced to go into my Beedrill. So I'm going to go for the Sleep Powder here to get off a free sleep. I'm just going to go into his Muckalola. I'm sure I'm going to take advantage of the sleep and go into my Dragonite, try to set up and go for the victory. So I'm going to go for the Dragonite. He's going to get the first turn Wake Up, nothing surprising here. He's going to go for the Ice Punch, doesn't do too much, but he fucking freezes me. So right here, this game is pretty much already a sack of dicks already, and he's going to go for the Ice Punch, freeze me. That means my Dragonite is pretty much immobilized for the rest of the game. And he's going to be able to take out my Dragonite with the Ice Punch next turn, meaning I can't even go for the Outrage to take him out, or the Z Outrage. So yeah, this whole scenario was pretty devastating for me in general. So because I'm frozen, my Dragonite is pretty much useless for the remainder of the game. And I see no point of keeping, like, I thought like I could still use it because it still had the Draganium Z, and if it can stall later into the game, I can get off a huge hit on the Zapdos. So I'm gonna go out into my Torkoal expecting an Ice Punch. Hopefully he doesn't freeze again, and he doesn't under Sun. That would be pretty funny. But right here, he's gonna go for the knockoff, gonna get the Poison Touch turn 1, which is huge as well because that means that I get a few less turns with the Torkoal after all. So I'm going to go for the Stealth Rocks as he's just going to go for the Poison Jab. I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp, so I'm going to miss the Muck. So like, first 8 turns of this game, and I'm already like wanting to quit Pokemon already. But yeah, so it has not been a good start at all. So he's able to go for the Poison Jab again. I'm going to go out into my Scolipede because I still need the Torkoal alive for Sun later in the game. I was hoping I can get off a Wisp on the Muck to weaken it at least and get up rocks. But right here, I'm going to be forcing to go into my Scolipede. And I'm going to go for the Spikes to get up as much layers as possible, as you can go for the knockoff. Right here, I see I'm at 52%. I'm going to go for the Spikes. He's going to go for the knockoff, putting me at 26. And I was like, okay, pray to God that he doesn't have Shadow Sneak. If he does, I'm pretty much just losing the game. I'm going to go for the Sup, and I'm going to go for the Endeavor. And I managed to get off 99% on the Muck, which is absolutely huge, as he's going to go for the Pursuit. This means that I'm able to go into my Houndoom and pretty much just pick this thing off with a Flamethrower, or a Flame Charge actually, to prevent the Gallade from outspeeding. Oops, sorry. But as we all know, Houndoom can't really take out Gallade at 70% with a single move, not under Sun, at +0, which is why I'm forced to switch right here into my Torkoal to kind of like sack it off. As he's going to go for the close combat. So right here, I get an opportunity to go into Victory Bell. This game is still winnable in my opinion, which is why I'm still playing. I went to Victory Bell, go for the Weather Ball, knock out the Gallade. The crit didn't matter at all, he was at -1, and I'm Life Orb, and it's, yeah, so he goes into his Whimsicott. So the reason he went into Whimsicott can be two things. He has Thunder Wave, or he has Tailwind. Either way, I felt like Houndoom was definitely my best play here, because if he was Thunder Wave, then Dark type blocks Prankster, and if he was Tailwind, then I can pretty much just get off a free Flame Charge and pretty much to win the game from there. So I decided to go out into my Houndoom. But he actually reveals the Trick Room instead, so I was like, oh fuck. So right here, I debated going for the Solar Beam, because I know he was going to sack off his Fortress to waste the turns. But I was like, okay, if he's Scarf Diggersby, I still outspeed him. So I'm going to go for the Flamethrower and or the Dark Pulse, as he's going to sack off his Fortress. He's going to go into Zapdos because it outspeeds, and Thunderbolt with Specs from which kills him on. I'm going to go into my Victory Bell here because because Sun ends his turn, and I'm going to be able to double into my Dragonite because I expected him to go into. I didn't expect him to stay in because I was live for Sludge Bomb. So I'm gonna pull a double into my Dragonite, but he's just gonna go for the Thunderbolt, which is fine by me actually because I wasted another turn of Trick Room. So I can go for the Sleep Powder on the Zapdos here, as he's gonna stay asleep as I go for the Sludge Bomb and got off a huge amount on these Zapdos. And right here, he wakes up, he goes for his Thunderbolt, takes me out, and right here, I was like, okay, Flame Charge doesn't kill the Zapdos. I can go for a crit Flame Charge for the game. I can go for the 1 differential more by going for the Dark Pulse, and I decided to go for the 1 more differential by knocking out the Zapdos, and he's going to be able to tame me up with Scarf Diggersby. So ultimately, even though this game was a pretty BS game at the start, I definitely felt like I still have a chance to win this end game if I didn't switch out on the Victory Bell. Because what that meant was that I could have killed the Whimsicott, and he would have had 3 turns of Trickling left. He would have gone into the Diggersby most likely to go for a turn to get a kill. And what I can do there is I can pretty much just sack off my Dragonite, which means that he'll have 2 turns of Trickling left, and the Sun will run out at that point. I can go into Victory Bell as Sun runs out, and I can go for the Sleep Powder onto the Diggersby. Most likely he would have doubled into Fortress or Zapdos. However, if he doubled into Zapdos, I get a free kill with my Victory Bell, and I can get a free Flame Charge off with my Houndoom on the sleeping Zapdos. And if we went into Fortress, it's a 50-50 because I can go Houndoom and go for the Flame Charge, and because his Whimsicott really isn't like a large threat anymore, because if he sets up his Trick Room, then I can still win with my own Victory Bell. All these grass types are starting to confuse me, but like I hope you get the point. I had a good chance to win this game if I didn't switch it out, but ultimately I expect the Thunder Wave or Tailwind. But this game was still pretty bullshit at the start, because what I could have done with Dragonite or Torkoal was that I could have gotten a huge chunk of damage off of that Whimsicott or the Zapdos with my Dragonite if possible. So ultimately this game was pretty bullshit. I'm 1-3 now, so I'm pretty much forced to win the remainder of my games to even have a shot at auto promotion. So yeah, I'm pretty much forced to win my remainder of the games and go 7-3. And our next opponent isn't easy either, because week 5 we go up against King L5, which is one of the toughest matches of this season, I believe, for me, because I do believe L5 is a very competent player. So even though I was looking forward to this match, the timing was kind of whack, because I'm kind of 1-3 at the moment, and I can't risk another loss. But hopefully I can take the win this game. So yo, what is up guys, GeniusX here, and this is kind of like a full-up video on what you guys just heard, and it's a couple days after my original video that I recorded, where I recorded the previous 4 weeks in a row. But I kind of wanted to record this match again due to the fact that I was kind of mumbling and I didn't really state what I wanted to state previously in that recording, because I was recording for an hour straight, so I decided to record this last match again, and so I can explain my thought process more clearly, and hope you guys have a better understanding of what my plays were and like my team building in general. So week 5 we played against L5, and I believe our record going into this was a 1-3 2-3 record. A 2-3 record, I believe, or 1-4. It might have been 1-4. No, I actually don't remember. No, yeah, it was a 2-3 record, because okay, sorry, I can't math. It was a 1-2 record that we came into this match, and we really needed to win the rest of the matches to have a shot of auto promotion, because a season with a 6-4 run, there's like almost no chance you can auto promote to Mega B. However, with a 7-3, there's a very good chance, depending on the results of the other leagues as well. Of course, you need a good differential as well. But moving on here, we have L5's draft, which I don't believe changed at all. So we have Zygarde, Latios, Toxapex, Pinsir, Magnezone, Klefki, Persian, Pulsarn, Lilligant, Silvally, and Hitmonlee. So during this match, I was actually like during the process of moving back from Palo Alto or San Francisco to Japan, so I didn't have a lot of time to build or battle at all. Therefore, this battle was actually delayed by a week, and a lot other people kind of did most of the building for me. But I would like to give a shout out to John W in general, because he would kind of like build the main core of this team, and then I kind of just expanded upon it. So a big shout out to him, because he kind of built this. He pretty much built like 70 to 80% of this team. But yeah. So moving on here. Here we have our sets. The main mon that I'm going to be using this game is going to be this Mew with Psychic, Taunt, Ice Beam, and Roost. So max defense, max HP, and 20 speed. I'm not sure what this 20 speed is creeping. It's probably just to prevent other Pokemon from creeping a no speed Mew. But yeah, so as you can see, Ice Beam and Psychic hits everything on his team except for the Magnezone and Klefki. And then Taunt shuts down the majority of his team as well. So this set kind of like walls a lot of his team, such as Latios and Pinsir may be exception. But other than that, everything else is pretty like vulnerable to the Mew, unless he's like Toxic Klefki or like Metal Sound Magnezone or something like that. But yeah, so moving on, we have the defensive Crocodile. This is going to be my main switch into the Pinsir was unboosted, or the Latios at -2, or the Zygarde if it's set up. The Magnezone and the Klefki also blocks the Volt Switch from the Magnezone as well. So Fire Fang, Knockoff, and Earthquake. Fire Fang because I believe it can catch Magnet Rise Klefkis. It also hits the Lilligant and it can hit the Pinsir as well. So it's kind of like a move that can hit everything neutrally or like with some damage, and it also has a 10% chance to burn, which is really nice. Like I said, Taunt again, because Taunt just shuts down L5's bulky draft in general. Mons such as Toxapex, Klefki, and Poliwhirl really needs to avoid being taunted to be able to do like much stuff at all. And then Zygarde is also vulnerable to taunt because without setup it's really weak. Knockoff and Earthquake are mandatory stabs, so yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. Now, Knockoff can knock off the item on Poliwhirl and Latios, and EQ can pretty much hit everything else on the team. So moving on, we have the Metagross with Cobra Berry and Steel Attacks, Stealth Rocks. So Ice Punch is for the Zygarde, and Earthquake is for the Steel types plus Toxapex, and Rock Slide is for the Mega Pinsir. So you might be wondering why we don't actually have a Steel Stab to hit the Poliwhirl, but ultimately, John probably felt like these two moves were more important to be able to hit the vast majority of his team, and because Poliwhirl doesn't have recovery anyways, like mons such as Toxapex or Leftovers Klefki, therefore it's probably easier to chip compared to both of them. And Cobra Berry, originally this team had Castleberry, which is for the Shadow Ball Latios, I believe. But I changed it to Cobra later on because I felt like knockoff Pinsir was a very relevant threat this me. Considering my main switch into Pinsir was either going to be defensive Mew or expensive Metagross, I felt like knockoff was more likely to come over something like close combat or Earthquake. Therefore, I went with a Cobra Berry Metagross, and I felt like knockoff Pinsir was just like uncommon in general, so he wouldn't expect me to. Bring a Cobra Metagross vs him. Moving on, we have a slightly defensive Rotom now, or should it Scarf as well, with Defog, Trick, Leaf Storm, and Volt Switch. Those stabs, Trick to be able to trick stuff. Like, this whole theme of this game is due to the fact that L5's team is really defensive, partially with a few offensive mons. Therefore, moves such as Taunt and Trick work really well here. Defog is for like the necessary hazard removal for my Houndoom and my Dragonite, and to not chip my Mew down. The defense investment here is for the Pinsir mainly because I can tank stuff such as a +2 quick attack relatively with ease, or it's the HP investment as well. It can also help with the Zygarde as well. But yeah, so Ultimately, the purpose for this Rotom is to kind of just pivot around his team and be able to trick his Scarf onto a defensive mon, and potentially revenge the Pinsir with when rocks are up on his side. So moving on, we have Houndoom with Pursuit, Will-O-Wisp, Dark Pulse, and Flamethrower. One of the main reasons that I had this mon is due to the fact that I originally had Nasty Plot over Pursuit, but the change didn't register before the match, so I was stuck with Pursuit. But the reason I wanted to change Pursuit to Nasty Plot was because I didn't actually really expect Latios to come. I had a few mocks after I came back to Japan. I think one or two was, and neither of my opponents brought Latios. So ultimate, I felt like it wasn't necessary for me to have Pursuit to be able to trap the Latios when I could have Nasty Plot to be able to break past the Toxapex much easier, and be able to not get walled by Toxapex. Will-O-Wisp is obviously for the Zygarde and the Pulse Wine, due to the fact that they just can tank my attacks just relatively ease. And yeah, so speed investment, I'm pretty sure that creeps the Latios, and yeah, rest is pretty self-explanatory. Moving on, we have our final Pokemon in the Dragonite. Draganium Z was Roost, Fire Punch, and Dragon Claw. Fire Punch hits pretty much the three things that are resisted by Dragon Claw, or not resisted, but like can take Dragon Claw relatively well, being the Magnezone, Klefki, and the Pulse Wine. So Z Dragon Claw is kind of like a nuke at +1/2. It's able to take out majority of his things on his team, such as the Toxapex and the Persian. So this is pretty good as well vs him. So ultimately, looking at like the matchup in this state, what I really want to do is be able to pressure him by getting up rocks early and be able to beat the Pinsir down. The main thing that I feel like is going to be relevant in this game is how well I deal with his offense, such as Zygarde and Latios and Pinsir, because I feel like I definitely have enough mods to be able to deal with his bulk in the back. And also looking at his defogging options for Pinsir as Latios and Klefki. Like I said, I didn't expect Latios to come, so I felt like Klefki was definitely going to be his defogger. And if you didn't know, Prankster was nerfed in Gen 7, therefore defog doesn't actually work on Dark types unless he has Magus and Klefki, which would have been a nice type actually. So I have two Dark type on this team, being Houndoom and Crocodile. Both beat Klefki relatively easily, and I can switch them in relatively easily as well. Unless rocks are up on my side, in which case Houndoom is kind of like getting chipped. So moving on to the match, we can see that L5 brought Pinsir, Lilligant, Klefki, Paliswine, Toxapex, and Zygarde. Not really what I expected, but I want to give a shout out to Greg as well, because this is actually the exact replica of what Greg bought during our mock, and funnily enough, the position of the mons were in the same order as well. So what I can really infer from what you bought was that this Pinsir is pretty much going to be an knockoff offensive. Paliswine's going to have the rocks, Klefki can be the defogger, the Lilligant is either going to be offensive with HP Ground and Pedal Dance, or HP Ice and Pedal Dance, or something else, or a defensive set to be able to beat the Crocodile, although I feel like an offensive set would be more likely. The Zygarde, I expected it to be a Draganium Z set with Dragon Dance and possibly Outrage, Thousand Arrows, and potentially Sub or Toxic or something else like Coil. The Toxapex was going to be self-explanatory. I felt it was just going to be Toxic, Scald, Haze, and maybe like Ice Beam or I mean, he's definitely going to recover, but maybe he has Ice Beam or something like Haze or Toxic, whatever. So yeah, ultimately, everything was pretty much what I expected except for the Lilligant, so we're just going to hop straight into the game. And like I said, my Mew is pretty much my main thing in this game, because if you look at the matchup here, nothing on this team really beats Mew. The Paliswine and the Toxapex is beaten by Taunt, the Zygarde is beaten by Ice Beam. The Klefki might be a problem, but ultimately, like, I can just switch into my Houndoom, because he can't really do anything to the Houndoom, or the Crocodile. The Pinsir is not really a problem because I have Metagross and Crocodile on the back, and I can always, he will always fear the Will-O-Wisp, so I doubt he would stay in. And Lilligant, I just don't know what that mod does, so I'll probably have to pivot around that. But yeah, he leads off with the Paliswine. I can get off a free taunt straight away turn 1, prevents him from getting up rocks. And right here, I'm just gonna pull a double into Metagross, expecting Klefki to come in. The reason I made this play is because I wanted to get off huge damage on the Klefki right away. And I didn't expect him to go for Magnet Rise straight away. I would expect him to go for something like Screens or maybe even a layer of Spike. So he's actually going to go for the Thunder Wave instead, so please scum by him. But I'm going to choose to go for my Rocks instead, because as I said, if you look at his team, his only defogger on his team is Klefki. And we both know that Houndoom was the thing to Eternity. So right here, I'm just going to go into my Houndoom on the defog, and I'm going to be able to pretty much pressure him instantly with the Rocks. Right here, I realized that I didn't have Nasty Plot on my Houndoom, so I'm forced to go for my Dark Pulse on the Talk Specs to 0. At least I know it's kind of relatively split up now. I'm just gonna go into my Metagross. The reason I didn't want to go into my Mew is because I fully am aware that Toxic is an option, and because Metagross is paralyzed already, it can actually be burned by Scald. Therefore, I felt like it was definitely the better play overall. And then what I can do here is I can fire off an Earthquake pretty freely. He has no switch-ins to this thing. If he goes Lilligant, I can just follow up with a Ice Punch next turn. If he goes Poliwhirl, which I doubt, I'll probably just switch into something like Mew. So he goes out into his Klefki instead, which is great because I definitely needed damage on the Klefki to be able to allow Mew to win this game easier. And what I can do is I can just go into my Houndoom to prevent defog again. I could have actually gone for Earthquake again and taken out the Klefki if I got a good enough roll, and I can just prevent him from having Klefki to defog in general. But I felt like I wasn't going to risk the fact that he can live, so I decided to just pull the safe play and go out into Houndoom. He's just going to make the safe play, go out into Pets. I'm just going to put out this opportunity to go for the Flamethrower. Just like fishing for a burn or something like that. I'm just gonna go back to my Metagross on the Toxapex, as he makes a good double into Poliwhirl so that he can get up his rocks. Nothing I can really do about that. Good play by him. I'm gonna go back into my Mew as I'm gonna go for the taunt again. And right here, I believe I go into my Crocodile. Yeah, I went into my Crocodile because I didn't see like what he can do to my Crocodile, and I wanted to be able to knock off his leftovers on this Klefki because it was really starting to become annoying. Therefore, he goes for Repair Off, doesn't do much, just 26%, and he's hurt by my Rocky Helmet as well, which is great because I need this thing weakened as much as possible. So I can fire off a knockoff as he goes into his Lilligant, that's reveals to be the Aqua so he was a pretty offensive Lilligant from that knockoff damage. And Metagross is really obvious here because it like unboosted Lilligant can't do shit to Metagross, so Metagross is really obvious. And I wanted to kind of like stay in and just go for the knockoff and KO it, but Crocodile was too important at this stage, and it's not like Metagross going into Metagross on a potential HP ground is like game-ending scenario anyways. So I decided to just make the safe play and go into Metagross as he goes for the aggressive HP ground / fire. Right here, I'm just gonna pull a double back into my Mew, expecting the Poliwhirl or the Klefki, but he actually just goes for the Hidden Power instead, attempting to chip my Metagross. Right here, I was like, okay, so I can go out into my Houndoom because Toxapex eternally walls it at this stage, and I don't need it to win the game there because I don't have the I don't need the Houndoom to win the game because I don't have Nasty Paw and I have Pursuit instead. So I decided to risk my Houndoom on the Pedal Dance because that's what I thought he was gonna go for, as he's gonna go into my into his Klefki attempting to default properly. So this was not like, it wasn't a bad situation, but it wasn't a good situation either. So, because I take rocks, and even though I force out Klefki, I do take rocks, which I do not want, because I want my Houndoom to be able to eternally prevent default from the Klefki. So, I'm going to pull off the Wispier to prevent the Black Sludge damage from Toxapex now. And I can just go safely out into my Metagross. Like I said, there's always a safe switch-in. Rocks don't even hurt it that much. He's gonna go for the Scald, that's 14%. And what I can do here is I can just fire off an EQ, because like I said, any chip on Poliwhirl is good chip. He has no recovery, he has Eviolite. But I actually ended up pulling a double to Mew. I didn't actually expect that. But I think I did this in order to be able to catch the Poliwhirl and let it take more rock chip, because it's taking 12% every time it comes in. He goes for an Ice Crash, just 22%. I can get off a few use here. Nothing really surprising. Gonna go for the taunt on the Klefki. The reason I stayed in here risking the defog was because that he had rocks up on his field as well. And in my opinion, if he got rid of the rocks for me, rocks would have been way easier for me to get back up compared to him. Therefore, I stayed in and then I went for the taunt to prevent him from any further shenanigans after the defog. So right here, I'm just going to go for the Psychic to get off as much damage as possible because like I said, I need this chip weakened. And I get a Sped Up drop, but he gets a crit in return, so that's really impressive. I'm just going to go for the Psychic again. He goes into Toxapex, takes 39%. Right here, I believe I go for the taunt because he can lift another Psychic, and if he Toxics my Mew, that's game over 100% because my Mew can't beat his Poliwhirl or his Klefki anymore. Therefore, I have to go for the taunt here, and he's going to pull a good double into the pincer. So like I said, my Mew can tank a knockoff, but I have no move that can KO this Pinsir straight away. Therefore, I decided to sack off my Mangos here because I didn't see any use in them anymore. And the Cobra actually came into use this time by tanking a knockoff, but yeah. His taunt wears off, I'm able to go out into my Rotom Mount. I highly doubt he would go out into his Zygarde right here to risk it on a potential Will-O-Wisp or something like an HP Ice. So he sacks off his Elegant on my Volt Switch, and I'm able to go out into my Crocodile because it threatens everything on his team. If he wants to go out into Paliswine, he's taking extra rocks, and it beats the Zygarde, the Toxapex, and the Klefki 1v1. Goes into the Zygarde. Right here, I'm able to go for the I'm gonna prevent onto Mew because I believe he was I thought that he was Z-move, therefore knockoff wasn't going to do shit. So I went out into Mew as he's actually going to reveal the coil, and I was like, okay, I can go for the Ice Beam right here. And he reveals to be leftovers as well, so he's not Z. I can go for the Ice Beam right here relatively easily, but he's going to reveal the Tech and Camouflage, and that kind of scared me a bit because I was like, okay, so what can I do to this thing now? I'm just going to go for the Psychic to get off as much damage as possible, but then I'm going to go for the Taunt to prevent him from setting up even more. But he goes for a Dragon Dance, and this Zygarde is looking awfully scary right now. And so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go for the Psychic, see how much damage this does, and then this jack shit is 24%. And I was like, okay, this can't go on. So I'm gonna sack off my Crocodile to get off the Intimidate. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trick this thing with the Rotom to prevent it from setting up even further. So he's gonna go for the Facade. Fortunately, the taunt doesn't wear off, and I'm able to go into my Rotom, and I'm able to go for a Trick. So basically what this trick does is that if he locks himself into a setup move, he will just set up forever. And if he locks himself into a Facade, a +2 Facade Zygarde will not be able to break past me at all. Therefore, I am able to get off the Leaf Storm. I essentially sack Rotom and Crocodile during this process, but I'm able to get rid of the Zygarde. So, looking at this current situation of the game, I was like, okay, Mew wins this game. Houndoom does shit, and Dragonite is good. After Mew beats the Paliswine. Therefore, I was like, okay, Mew is definitely the most important mon to me right now. So he goes into Pinsir, and I was like, okay, he's definitely going to go for the knockoff here. But I can go into Houndoom because Houndoom does jack shit now. But I cannot risk the fact of him going for a return on my Houndoom, because that means that he gets a free knockoff. He gets a free kill on Houndoom and a free knockoff on Mew. So I was like, okay, that can never happen. I can always recover on his other 3 mons anyways, and knockoff will never kill. So I should just take this opportunity to kill off this Pinsir straight away. So I do that, and out comes the Klefki. I was like, okay, Klefki is a free roost. I know he doesn't have Toxic. He's going to go for the Thunder Wave, play with his luck. Synchronize activates. I'm able to get off a roost, and right here I'm just going to go back into my Houndoom to prevent the defog or anything annoying. And right here, I know Toxapex is going to come in. Like, it's been like that for the whole game. So I'm going to pull a double into my Dragonite, and he's going to go into Toxapex. And I was like, okay, he's going to go for the Toxic or the Ice Beam here. I do not expect him to switch, because a DD can potentially be devastating for him right here, Dragon Dance. Therefore, I go hard for the Devastating Drake, and I miss out the KO by 1%. By 1%. If I got that KO, Mew would have just won the game right there with Dragonite and Houndoom. But unfortunately, we do not get a kill, and Toxapex can regenerate her up by switching out into Paliswine. Fire Punch does around 80%, doesn't do shit, and I'm just going to have to sack off my Dragonite to get my Mew back in, I believe. So, right here, I go for the Psychic, and I was like, okay, please do not power flinch me to death, because I lose the game. However, I really wanted to get off a Psychic first before anything else, because that means that I put him in range of a Flamethrower, so if anything happens, I at least have the option to flinch down the Toxapex. Therefore, I wanted to get off the Psychic damage before I went for a Roost or anything, and then thankfully I'm able to get it off, but unfortunately he's going to go for the Acid Crash crit, and then flinch my Mew, and then power my Mew. So I was like, oh shit, I think I just lose the game, because Mew was my win con at this point. They beat everything on his team. Klefki wasn't beating Mew, Peps wasn't beating Mew, Paliswine wasn't beating Mew if it got back up to a decent health. Therefore, I was really pissed at this point in the game. I was like, oh shit, what can I do? I'm going to go into my Houndoom, and I'm going to go for the Flamethrower. And I was like, wait, in order for Toxapex to live the next hit, or to live the Dark Souls, he has to have Regenerator. And I have Pursuit on this Houndoom, and I was like, oh shit, I can go for the Pursuit, prevent him from getting Regenerator, and I can kill him off with a Dark Pulse later in the game. So I was like, oh shit, I have Pursuit on this Houndoom, and therefore I'm able to prevent this Toxapex from getting Regenerator, Recovery, and I'm able to win the game with my Houndoom. So I was like, oh shit, I can win this game. But then I realized that he can switch back out into his Toxapex right here on my Flame server, not die, and it will be another 50-50. So I was like, okay, if L5 makes the right play, he would definitely go out into Toxapex right here. But I do not want to choke by going for the Dark Pulse right here, and pretty much just throwing the game if he throws in. Therefore, I go for the Flamethrower, and I believe L5 makes a misplay here by staying in, and he does actually stay in, and what this does is this confirms my win because he doesn't have enough HP on his Toxapex to live a Dark Pulse. So ultimately, in the end, the mon that I thought I was going to put in the least amount of work ended up winning me the game, and even though Nasty Plot would have won me the game much easier, or in a much simpler way, Pursuit ended up coming in clutch, and this was a really fun game in general. Like, the crit and the flinches on Mew were a bit annoying, but like the chances were still pretty geared towards him because I was powered and Asako Crouch has a 30% flinch rate. So I don't know. I felt like this game was really fun either way. So GG to L5, and hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Sorry it was kind of like choppy and like I recorded my week 5 differently from my week 1 to 4. But hopefully you all enjoyed, and I'll probably be uploading my week 6 to 10 tomorrow, hopefully, if I have the feeling to record. So yeah, hope you guys all enjoyed, and this has definitely been an interesting season. And I'm definitely going to be needing to win my remaining 5 games to promote, so hopefully I am able to do that. So thank you guys all for watching this video, and see you guys next time.